Hi everyone, welcome to my Gelitwo video blog, where I'll be reflecting on everything I've learned throughout the term. This course has been an eye-opening experience, helping me see literature not just as words on a page, but as a powerful tool to explore national identity, history, human struggles, and societal issues. In this video, I'll be sharing my biggest takeaways from each module, as well as key insights from our class discussions, activities, and assigned materials. Finally, I'll talk about how this course has impacted me personally and how I can apply these learnings beyond the classroom. So let's dive in. For my first module, Module 1, which is National and Global, the main material we used was World Literature, National Context by David Damrosch. My first takeaway is that national identity is influenced by global interactions. One of the biggest things I realized in this module is that national identity isn't something fixed, but it evolves based on global influences. In world literature, national context, Damrosch explains how literature can serve as both reflections of a nation's culture and the space for cross-cultural exchange. This made me think about how modern Filipino literature, for example, blends local traditions with global themes. It's interesting to see how writers today navigate between representing their national identity while being part of a larger, interconnected literary world. My second takeaway is that literature helps preserve national identity. Many stories, poems, and novels are not just for entertainment, they serve as historical records that keep national identity alive. Damrosch's discussion made me realize how important it is to continue supporting literature that represents different cultures, especially in a world where dominant narratives can overshadow smaller voices. This takeaway made me more appreciative of local and indigenous literature that fights to keep traditions and histories from being forgotten. My third takeaway is that globalization can both challenge and strengthen national identity. One question that stuck with me is, how do we embrace global influences while maintaining our unique cultural identity? Literature gives us different perspectives on this. Some works emphasize the loss of identity due to globalization, while others highlight the blending of cultures in positive ways. This takeaway connects to real life, especially in the Philippines, where we constantly balance preserving our culture while adapting to global changes. So, for our second module, which is all about colonial past and post colonial present, the main materials that I would like to highlight today are post colonial literary, post colonial literary theory, post colonial ways of reading, and telephone conversation by Wol Soyinka. All of these can be found in YouTube. So, my first takeaway is that the effects of colonialism are still felt till this day. The post-colonial literary theory video explained how, even after gaining independence, former colonies still struggle with long-term effects of colonial rule. This made me think about how the Philippines' colonial past and how it still affects things like our education system, beauty standards, and even our language. Literature helps us understand and challenge these lingering influences by giving voice to those who were historically silenced. My second takeaway is that a post-colonial lens helps uncover helps uncover hidden biases in literature. Applying a post-colonial lens allows us to question these narratives and recognize how they may reinforce stereotypes or exclude certain voices. This changed the way I approach literature now. Now, I try to be more critical of the perspectives being presented and whose voices are missing. My third takeaway is that racism and discrimination are still relevant issues, even today. Telephone Conversation by Huol Soyinka, it uses irony and humor to highlight the absurdity of racism. The poem's message is still relevant today because discrimination based on race, ethnicity, or nationality still exists in many parts of the world. This takeaway reminded me of the importance of literature in exposing social issues and encouraging conversations about meaningful change. The third module, which is about the body, mind, and desire, the main materials that I would like to highlight today are Dear Evan Hansen, The Vagina Monologues, Heels Like White Elephants. My first takeaway is that mental health struggles are often overlooked. In Dear Evan Hansen, Evan's anxiety and loneliness show how mental health issues can be invisible but deeply impactful. This made me realize how important it is to have an open conversation about mental health and to be more compassionate towards people who may be struggling. Literature, films, and theater can play a huge role in raising awareness about mental health by giving audiences a chance to see these struggles from a personal perspective. The second takeaway is that women's voices have been historically silenced. For example, in the Vagina Monologues, it is a powerful example of literature reclaiming women's narratives about sexuality, trauma, and women empowerment. The way the monologues tackle difficult topics made me reflect on how even today there are still barriers preventing women from freely expressing their experiences. This takeaway reinforced the importance of amplifying diverse voices in literature and in media too. My third takeaway is that communication is very important in relationships. Hills Like White Elephants by Ernest Hemingway, it shows that avoiding direct conversation can create more conflict and tension and eventually misunderstandings. This story made me reflect on how clear and honest communication is necessary in real life relationships, whether it's like a romantic relationship, familial, or even when it comes to friendships. For my takeaways when it comes to in class discussions, some of the materials that I would like to highlight are the hero's journey, Son of Zorn, Black Mirror, Nosedive, The Present, El Empleo, 2 plus 2 equals 5. These are just some of the materials that I would like to highlight. So my first takeaway is that the hero's journey is a universal framework for storytelling. We saw this in Son of Zorn, where even in a comedy setting, the classic stages of the hero's journey still apply. This helped me a lot when it comes to appreciating how storytelling across different cultures follows a very similar pattern, reinforcing the idea that narratives can connect people worldwide. My second takeaway is that society pressures individuals to conform. Black Mirror knows that is a disturbing look on how social media and reputation systems can control people's lives. This connects to the man versus society conflict in literature, where individuals struggle against societal expectations. It made me reflect on how we sometimes let social validation dictate our choices instead of staying true to ourselves. My third takeaway is that symbolism makes social critiques more important. For example, in El Empleo and 2 plus 2 equals 5, they use strong visual metaphors to critique labor expectation and forced conformity. These stories show that sometimes the most impactful messages aren't told directly, they're shown through symbols that make the audience stop and think. I want to talk about how this course has impacted me as an individual. This course has really changed me in the ways I think about literature in two major ways. It helped me see literature as a reflection of real world, real life issues. So right now, when I read a story, I don't just focus on the plot. I try to see a deeper messages, the hidden meanings about history, society, and even identity. It really sharpened my ability to think critically. The materials we cover encouraged me to to question dominant narratives and seek out diverse perspectives. Even beyond my time at De La Salle, I know these skills will be valuable in understanding the world and making informed decisions. So, in conclusion, GE Lit 2 has been a meaningful experience that has deepened my appreciation for literature and its role in shaping our understanding of the world. Moving forward, I want to continue being more critical of the stories I consume and to support diverse voices in literature and media. Thank you for watching my video blog.